Let me start with a little confession, because I think it'll make you feel better about a few things. In all my long years of sitting with cats, in all those living rooms and kitchens and quiet corners, the single biggest problem I have ever run into has almost never been the cat. No, 9 times out of 10, the problem has been us, the people. Good, loving, well-meaning people who look right at their cat, watch it tell them exactly what it feels, plain as day, and then get the whole thing completely backwards. And I don't say that to be unkind, because I did it myself for years. We can't help it, really. Most of us grew up around dogs, or we grew up around people, and so we go and look at a cat through dog-colored glasses, or through human-colored glasses, and we read everything wrong. A cat is not a small dog. A cat is not a furry little person. A cat is its own creature entirely, with its own ancient logic. And once you learn to take those borrowed glasses off and look at the world through cat-colored glasses instead, well, I promise you, everything changes. The fighting stops, the confusion melts away, and that animal you thought was being difficult turns out to have been talking to you clearly the whole time. So today, I want to give you 6 things your cat is saying to you. 6 messages that so many people get exactly wrong. And by the time we're done, my hope is that you'll never misread your cat the same way again. Let's take them one at a time, slow and gentle. Here's the first one, and it's one you've absolutely seen. I call it the Halloween cat. You know the picture. The back arched way up high, the fur standing straight up all over, the tail puffed out like a bottle brush, the whole body turned sideways and blown up to twice its normal size. And what does nearly everybody say when they see a cat do that? They say, "Oh, look how aggressive he's being. Look how tough. He's ready for a fight." And I understand why. It's a dramatic pose. It looks like the cat means business. But here's the truth of it, and it may surprise you. That pose is very nearly the opposite of what you think. That is not a cat feeling brave. That is a cat feeling afraid. Something just startled that cat. Something frightened it. And its instinct, an instinct going back many thousands of years, is to make itself look as big and as unmistakable as it possibly can, hoping that whatever scared it will think twice and back away. It's all bluff and terror underneath. It's a small, frightened animal wearing the biggest costume it can conjure up out of thin air. So when you see the Halloween cat, the very last thing that cat needs is for you to loom over it or come rushing in. What it needs is space and calm and a quiet moment to feel safe again. Read it as fear, because that's what it is, and you'll handle it right every time. Now let's go to the second one, and this is one that has fooled more good people and earned more scratches than almost any other. It's the belly. Your cat rolls over onto its back right there in front of you and shows you that soft, warm tummy. And what do? Well, if you've ever had a dog, you know exactly what you do. You reach right in for the tummy rub, because with a dog, that's an invitation. And then, chomp, or a swat, claws out, and you pull your hand back wondering what on earth you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong, except read the wrong instruction manual. Let me tell you what's really happening when a cat shows you its belly. I call it the cat hug. Think about it for a moment. That midline, that soft underside, is the most vulnerable part of the whole animal. It's where everything important lives, unprotected. If that cat were facing down a predator out in the wild, exposing that belly would be the very last thing in the world it would ever want to do. It would curl up tight, it would guard that soft middle with everything it had. So when your cat rolls over and shows it to you, willingly, out in the open, right there in the middle of the floor, that is not a request for a belly rub at all. That is the deepest kind of trust an animal can offer another living thing. It's saying, I feel completely safe with you. Completely. I'll show you the one part of me I would never show anything I feared, because I know, down in my bones, that you would never hurt me. And here's the little heartbreak in it. So many people, out of pure love and enthusiasm, reach right in for that tummy, and the cat startles and grabs and scratches, and the person pulls back feeling rejected and confused. But the cat wasn't rejecting anything. The cat offered you its trust and got its most vulnerable spot grabbed for the trouble. It's a simple misunderstanding, but it stings on both sides. It's very much like when one of us hugs another person. We open up our own midline. We make ourselves a little vulnerable. We lower our guard on purpose, and that is precisely what makes a hug mean something. Your cat is doing the very same thing in its own way. So the next time your cat gives you the cat hug, resist that urge, as strong as it is, and don't reach for the belly. Just take the compliment. Sit with it. Let the cat know you received it, because that's what it truly is, one of the very highest compliments a cat can ever pay a human being. All right, on to the third one, and this is the big one. This is the one I probably correct more than any other in all my visits. The wagging tail. Oh, so many people are looking at their cat through those dog-colored glasses when it comes to the tail. A dog wags its tail and it means joy, it means happiness, it means come play with me. So folks watch their cat's tail start swishing back and forth and they think, wonderful, my cat is happy. And more often than not, they have it completely upside down. Let me explain what's really going on down there, because it's fascinating once you understand it. A cat is an enormously sensitive creature, soaking up every bit of energy in a room, every bit of tension in the air. And when that cat starts to get worked up, agitated, overloaded, frustrated, that energy seems to travel right down the body and get stuck, all knotted up, right there in the tail. And so the tail starts to move. First, just a little flick at the very tip, then a slow swish. And as the frustration builds and builds with nowhere to go, that tail starts to lash harder and faster and heavier, thumping against the floor. That is not a happy cat. That is a cat filling up like a kettle about to whistle, trying to work off a charge it doesn't know what to do with. And if you keep pushing right past that warning, that's often the very moment the cat explodes. A pounce, a bite, a swat. So learn to read that tail. A thrashing, thumping tail is a cat asking you, plainly, to give it some room. Heed it, and you'll save yourself a great many surprises. That brings us naturally to the fourth thing, which flows right out of the third, and it's one you may have felt firsthand. You're sitting there nice and cozy, petting your cat. Pet, 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 pet. Everything seems lovely. The cat came to you, settled in, all is well. And then, out of what feels like absolutely nowhere, chomp. A sudden bite or a grab with the claws, and you sit there stunned, thinking, what just happened? I thought we were having a nice time. Well, my friend, let me introduce you to what we call overstimulation. And here's the thing, it very rarely comes out of nowhere at all. The cat almost always told you it was coming. You just weren't reading the signs. You see, for a cat, petting is a wonderful thing right up until it very suddenly isn't. All that repeated stroking builds up, and there's a threshold, different for every single cat, where pleasant tips right over into too much, into an almost prickly electric feeling under the skin. And before that bite ever lands, the cat has been telling you. The skin along the back may have started to twitch and ripple. The ears may have swiveled back. The tail, remember our friend the tail, may have begun to twitch and thrash. That is your cat saying, that's enough now, thank you, I've reached my limit. And when we miss all of that and keep right on going, the cat feels it has no choice left but to make itself perfectly clear the only other way it knows. So the lesson here isn't that your cat is moody or spiteful. The lesson is to learn your own particular cat's limit. 3 strokes or 30, and to watch for those little warnings, and to stop while you're both still having a good time. Now let's move to the fifth one, and this one usually shows up around the ankles. You're walking through the house, minding your own business, and suddenly your cat comes flying out from behind the couch and grabs your leg, or pounces on your feet, or ambushes you from around a corner. And a lot of folks take this personally. They think the cat is being aggressive or mean or that something is wrong. But almost always, this is something else entirely. This is play. This is a cat, very likely a young or an under-exercised one, absolutely brimming with energy and hunting instinct, and no proper outlet for any of it. because you have to remember what a cat truly is underneath all that softness. It is a hunter, right down to the bone. That body was built to stalk, to chase, to pounce, to catch. And when a cat doesn't get to do those things in a healthy way, when there's no wand toy, no little mouse to chase, no real hunt in its day, that drive doesn't just disappear. It has to go somewhere. And so your moving ankles become the prey. Your feet under the blanket become the mouse. It isn't aggression at all. It's a hunter with a job to do and nothing to hunt, so it invents a target. And unfortunately, that target is often you. I remember a home I sat in some years ago, a lovely couple who were quite convinced their young cat had simply turned mean. They'd wake up in the night to an ambush on the toes. They'd walk down the hall and get pounced on from the shadows. And they'd tried everything they could think of to make him stop. The sharp word, the sudden noise, shutting him out of the room. Nothing worked, of course, and it only wound him up tighter. So we sat down together and I asked them one very simple question. When does this cat actually get to be a cat? When does he ever get to hunt? And they looked at one another, and they slowly realized the answer was, well, never. He had a fine home and plenty of food, but he had never once been given a single thing to chase. All that energy had been building up inside him like water behind a dam. So we started playing with him, really playing. A good hard hunt with a wand toy every single evening, right up until he flopped down worn out and satisfied. And within 2 short weeks, those midnight ambushes had all but vanished. He was never a mean cat, you see. He was a bored one, and no one had ever thought to ask him what he needed. So the answer, and it's a happy one, isn't to punish that cat. It's to give it the hunt it's begging for. Set aside a little time each day for real active play. Let that cat chase and catch and conquer something that isn't your leg, and you'll find those ankle ambushes fade away almost entirely. Your cat wasn't attacking you. Your cat was asking you to play. And that brings us to the 6th and final thing. And this one is the one that hurts people's feelings the most, so I want to handle it with real care. It's when a cat goes and does its business somewhere it shouldn't. On the couch, on the bed, on a pile of your clothes. And the very first thing nearly everyone thinks, and I understand why, is, my cat is angry with me. My cat is doing this out of spite. My cat hates me, and this is revenge. I want to set your mind at ease right now, because that is almost never, ever what's going on. Cats do not do things out of spite. That's a very human idea, and we hang it on them because we're looking through those human-colored glasses again. So what is really happening? Well, let me say this first and say it plainly. Sometimes it's a medical matter. And that always, always deserves a look from the doctor before anything else. A cat that suddenly stops using its box may be trying to tell you it hurts, that something is wrong inside. And that is the first door you should knock on. Never skip that step. But very often, once the doctor has ruled that out, we find that when a cat goes on something that carries your scent, something soft and personal, like your bed or your pillow or a pile of your laundry fresh out of the basket, that insecure or anxious little cat is doing something that, in its own peculiar logic, is almost tender. It is mingling its own scent together with yours. It's saying, in the only language it has, you and me, we belong together. We're a pair. This is us. We're compadres. It is not an insult. It is not revenge. It is an anxious cat reaching out for reassurance in the clumsiest, most inconvenient, most frustrating way you can possibly imagine, but reaching out all the same. And once you truly understand that, everything shifts. Everything. You stop feeling attacked and you stop being angry. And you start asking the only question that actually matters, which is this. What is making my cat feel so insecure and so unsettled? And how on earth do I help it feel safe again? That is the difference between a war and an act of kindness. It's the same puddle on the couch, the same aggravating mess to clean up. But read correctly, in the cat's own language, it isn't a slap in the face at all. It's a small, anxious creature crying out for connection the only way it knows how. And that is a thing you can actually fix once you stop taking it personally and start listening to what it really means. So there they are, all 6 of them. The Halloween cat that looks tough but is really terrified. The belly that looks like an invitation but is really a hug of pure trust. The wagging tail that looks like joy but is usually frustration ready to boil over. The sudden bite in the middle of a nice petting session that was warned about all along. The ankle ambush that isn't aggression but a hunter begging to play. And the accident on the couch that isn't spite but an anxious little heart trying to say, "We belong together." And do you see the thread running through all 6 of them? Every single one is a case of us looking at a cat and seeing a dog, or seeing a person instead of seeing a cat. Every one is a message sent in perfectly clear cat language that we misread because we were reading in some other language entirely. The Halloween cat, the cat hug, the lashing tail, the overstimulation, the play attack, the anxious little accident. These are all just ways, every one of them, we can finally take off the dog-colored glasses and take off the human-colored glasses and start looking at our cats through cat-colored glasses instead. Their motivations, their reality, the world exactly as they experience it. And I promise you, when you do that, you will spend so much less of your life confused or frustrated or hurt or angry. So much less time projecting feelings onto that animal that it never had in the first place. Because here's the beautiful truth at the bottom of all of this. Your cat has been talking to you this whole time. Clearly, honestly, constantly. It was never the one who couldn't communicate. We were just listening in the wrong language. And the moment you learn the right one, a whole new relationship opens up between the two of you. One built on actually understanding each other instead of guessing and getting it wrong. That's really the heart of everything I do and everything I've ever done. It's not about training cats. It's about translating them. It's about helping good people like you finally hear what your cat has been saying all along, so the two of you can stop misunderstanding each other and simply be the companions you were always meant to be. So that's it for today, my friend. 6 things your cat has been trying to tell you, and now you know how to listen. I'd love to hear from you down below. Tell me which of these 6 surprised you the most, and tell me about your own cat and the little ways it talks to you. And if there's something you'd like the two of us to sit down and puzzle out together next time, you let me know that too. Until we speak again, be gentle, be patient, take off those old glasses, and go give that cat of yours a nice, slow blink from me.